Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Ana Clara, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Lacey G.
And I'm Amy.
And it's been a while since we have gotten together. Also, it's been a while, years, I believe, since Amy and I recorded a solo podcast.
That's right.
So this may be a little bit wheels off. We used to have a podcast together, so we're familiar with recording with each other. And obviously we record next to each other all the time, but it's still weird whenever
the
half
dynamics.
the show is missing.
Yeah, it's different.
We have less people to rely on.
Yeah, I need people.
and that's truly what sucks the most about that, I think, is because we know everybody's specialty and you might not have to come in completely prepared. Somebody else is going to know it. And dare I say, the biggest Swiftie expert, Ana, isn't here.
Yeah.
So the pressure is on for us to do an ultimate recap after a crazy couple of weeks.
Right.
For Swifties. So we're going to try our best. Please bear with us. And I said it's just us, but actually we do have some other people who are going to be chiming in as well. But we have a lot of stuff that we have to catch up with because it was before Thanksgiving whenever we recorded our final episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, great tragedy struck in Brazil, first weekend of the Eras Tour in Brazil. And then a surprise last weekend as well. So last that we caught up, Taylor Swift was in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
She had performed Better Than Revenge and Slut. And at that moment, it was the rescheduled show from November 10th. People were speculating, is she going to drop Reputation? I had speculated all along she was going to do Better Than Revenge and drop Reputation.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And that's where we left off. So Taylor Swift picked back up November 17th in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And the most awful thing happened. And being able to see what was happening on TikTok was just so surreal because we were so removed from the situation until it got as bad as it did.
Yeah.
And then we were just so aware of what was going on. So I guess a crazy heat wave.
Yeah, record breaking.
Hit Rio de Janeiro, and it was just this great catastrophe of everything that could go wrong went wrong. There were reports that they weren't allowing water into the stadium.
Right, the venue, not Taylor Swift and her team. The venue was not allowing it.
And that's just insane because this show was also general admission, correct? Like they didn't have assigned seating, so people are getting there early so they can get inside. So people are lining up at like 6 a.m. or whatever time to get in. Crowds were wrapped around for streets and for blocks trying to get into this concert, standing outside in the heat before they ever even get in. And then get in, not allowed to bring water. I
don't know, were they even selling water? I'm not even sure that they were selling water. I could be misinformed on that one.
I would imagine they were selling water. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I know that Taylor had water and was throwing it out to people.
Right. And they didn't want people who did not have tickets to see the show. So they had these shutters usually open for airflow, and they were closed because they were being selfish and wanted they didn't want people to see who didn't pay for it.
Yeah. So it was just all these bad things lining up together. Then to find out that a 23-year-old fan in attendance passed away during the show. Initial reports said it was before Taylor Swift came on. Then it came out that she was like 2-3 songs in. And Ana Clara Benevides Machado, and I'm so sorry for every way that I'm pronouncing that wrong, sadly passed away Friday night during the show. And everyone was devastated. I mean, what an awful thing. A young person, which just makes it even worse. I mean, no one should die, but I feel like it's even more tragic whenever it's someone who has a whole life ahead of them, you know? And she passed away during the concert, and people were fainting or passing out. You could see video of Taylor on stage, her skin red. She's hyperventilating, trying to catch her breath.
It was a struggle.
Sabrina Carpenter, same thing. Then all the dancers and stuff as well. And everyone's still in their era's attire. So it's not like you get to dress for the conditions that you're performing in now. You're still wearing the same thing, which I wondered about, like, during the rain shows, you know? Is it cold during these rain shows? And you're still wearing this. Like, the football players get to put on layers and stuff, but they're still performing in their same outfits. And it looked horrible and so sad for everyone who was there and who had to go through that, because that changed everyone's experience. I mean, obviously you can't compare the two. Someone died at a show compared to someone's experience at the Eras Tour, but the two were colliding, and it's still just a tragedy just hanging over everybody the whole time. Taylor did release a statement and said, she posted, "I can't believe I'm writing these words, but it's with a shattered heart that I say we lost a fan earlier tonight before my show. I can't even tell you how devastated I am by this. There's very little information I have other than the fact that she was so beautiful and far too young. I'm not going to be able to speak about this from the stage because I feel overwhelmed by grief when I even try to talk about it. I want to say now, I feel this loss deeply, and my heart goes out to her family and friends. This is the last thing I ever thought would happen when we decided to bring this tour to Brazil." And just, she finally goes to Brazil. And this is what happens. And we know how Taylor takes things very, very personally. And this wasn't her responsibility. This wasn't her doing. This wasn't her saying, you can't have water. We're going to shut the vents. Nothing like that. But she was still getting hate because it was tied to her. And the conditions were so bad. So then people are saying, well, it's the Eras Tour that's doing this, and it's because of the Eras Tour. And you know that just hurt her. She's expressed her grief before that everything she touched turns to ashes. And then here's this, and she's excited to finally bring this to Brazil, long overdue, and then this happens. So just absolutely, absolutely awful. We did hear from a lot of Swifties who were in attendance. Alice Lessa, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her middle name. I apologize for that. She reached out to me on Instagram and said she wanted to share her experience about what had happened that first weekend. Her and her friends went out Friday night, and just the vibe was completely on. Everybody's playing Taylor Swift everywhere. There's excitement in the air, people wearing their Eras Tour costumes, talking to everybody, friendship bracelets. It's just what everybody else felt whenever they went to the Eras Tour. But then Friday night, found out word about Anna's passing, and changed the night, shook up everybody. Then she went to the show on Saturday before they called it off, and people were still lined up. The conditions were bad.
Right. So Taylor wrote on her story, "I'm writing this from my dressing room in the stadium. The decision has been made to postpone tonight's show due to the extreme temperatures in Rio. The safety and well-being of my fans, fellow performers, and crew has to and always will come first. So she postponed the 18th and had rescheduled for the 20th.
And
this show is sponsored by Liquid IV. You know summer has officially started in my house when my kids are in full sports mode. We are outside constantly. Baseball games, practices, tournaments, running from one field to the next in the heat. And if you've ever sat through a doubleheader in the middle of the summer, then you know that staying hydrated is not optional. That's why I always throw in a few sticks of Liquid IV's hydration multiplier in my bag. I'm obsessed with the pina colada flavor right now, and it really just tastes like summer in a cup. Just tear it open, pour it into 16 ounces of water, and it hydrates faster than water alone. It's powered by Live Hydroscience with an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. Plus, Liquid IV has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink and includes 8 vitamins and nutrients in every stick. It's also non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Stay hydrated while you're on the go this summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first purchase with code TaylorSwiftFan at checkout. That's 20% off your first purchase with code TaylorSwiftFan at liquidiv.com.
Alice shared a voice memo. I told her whenever she reached out, I was like, please, if you want to share any experience, send me a voice memo. And I was just thinking she'd say a little bit and send it. Well, then she told me she sent a 14-minute message. And at first, thinking as a producer, I'm thinking, oh, well, that's a lot of information. And I'll probably take a couple clips, do a minute here and there, and play it that way. And Amy, once I listened to the message in entirety, not only as a sympathetic fan that's sorry that you went through this, but also as a producer, listening to this audio and thinking about what I'm going to do with it, she is so well-spoken and shed so much light on things that I didn't think of and wouldn't think of because I wasn't put in that position, that I'm actually going to play all of it right now so you can hear firsthand about what she witnessed, what was going on, why she thinks the decision was finally made. Because she, and it's all speculation, but I mean, she thinks that they were still going to continue on with the show, that they were going to put it on anyway. And it likely took Taylor having a breakdown for them to call off the show. And unfortunately, Alice was not able to attend the rescheduled show on Monday. She lives in the UK and had to be back for work. So regrettably, she was unable to make it, but then shared her friend's experience from there and what they noticed. So here is Alice Lessa's experience from the Eras Tour, that first weekend in Rio.
So on the first night, on Friday night, I was out with my friends. We had tickets for the second night. So yeah, we were out on the town and literally everywhere we went was playing Taylor Swift. All the bars everywhere. And we went to a region that usually plays very Brazilian music, very like traditional samba music. And that's what we went out for. But everywhere was just playing Taylor Swift, which was so fun and unexpected. And it was just such a great vibe. Like we could tell Rio was so proud to be hosting Taylor and everyone was just so happy. And Swifties were everywhere. Me and my group of friends, we ended up meeting this incredible group of Colombian Swifties who had traveled to Rio just to see Taylor as well. They were going to go on Sunday, I think. So we all got a bit drunk, drank some caipirinhas, just danced and sang to Taylor, and we just had such a wholesome, amazing time. Unfortunately, around midnight or so at Brazilian time, we saw the news. My friend saw on her phone the tragic news about Ana Benevides' death. And I mean, needless to say, it cut the night short. We all were just like, well, that's it. We got to go home. Like, we couldn't even sit with that. We couldn't just sit and drink and even talk about it. We were all just absolutely shocked. So yeah, so I went home, and honestly, I was sobbing for a solid 2 hours at home, just thinking of how tragic this was, and just reading everywhere on internet about how the horrible venue conditions, all the crazy things the venue had done with, not allowing water, the crazy temperature inside, closing the vents, Taylor herself needing to throw water into the crowd, and I was just so disgusted. The Eras Tour is, for so many people, the happiest event of our lives, something we've been looking forward to for ages. It's just such happiness and pride-filled moment that the fact that it was just stained with such sadness and grief was, it was just devastating, of course. But anyway, obviously I don't have to tell you about this. So, of course, I understood that my show the next day would obviously be cancelled. After all, there was a death. There were more than 1,000 people who passed out from the heat. And Saturday was meant to be even hotter than Friday. So I knew that my show was going to get cancelled. I was really, really sad, but obviously I accepted my fate. It is what it is. I slept really badly, and when I woke up, the first thing I did was check my phone to see, has Taylor officially cancelled or postponed? And I was actually really shocked to see that there was no cancellation. I was like, wait, is this for real? So that was a bit odd. So I met up with my friends late morning. We started to get ready. And honestly, it was a weird vibe. We were all grieving, and we were angry at the venue. We were worried about the heat. We were feeling really confused. We were worried about Taylor, surely she must be really unwell with everything that happened. But we were all also trying to hype ourselves up and try to be happy and put a happy face on and to get excited to go, So it was just a really weird, playing Taylor Swift music, dancing, putting makeup on, but inside just being what the hell is going on? I really felt like I was faking it. I was so excited for this gig for ages, but when I was in the car going towards the stadium, I didn't feel excitement. I felt confusion. So anyway, we got to the venue, we sat down, we made some amazing friends, we traded some friendship bracelets, and I started to feel a bit more relaxed just knowing the vibe of it all, but it still felt off. And everyone was just talking about it. I'm sure at most Eras Tour concerts, everyone is chatting about outfits and eras and songs, etc. But we were talking about death and injustice and venue issues and politics. So suddenly everyone starts checking their phones for Taylor's story about the show postponement. And it was all a big shock. And a few minutes later, there was an official announcement made inside the stadium. And at this point, my heart just shattered. It was a really weird feeling. So on the one hand, I was relieved. I knew it was irresponsible to go on. Yes, now the venue was allowing water. And yes, they now opened the vents, but it was still even hotter than the day before. And people still obviously were going to pass out. And also, realistically, how could Taylor put on a show whilst grieving? So I knew it was the safest decision to cancel, so that's why I felt some relief. But at the same time, honestly, I just started crying, which is so embarrassing. I'm 27 years old. It was quite embarrassing. I just honestly started crying because I live and I work in the UK, and I planned my holiday to Rio, which is where I'm from. I planned my holiday to go home based on the show. I booked my tickets to the Eras Tour, and then I booked my flights to be in Rio for a week. And I was flying back the next day on Sunday. So the show was postponed to Monday and I couldn't make it because I had work, which I couldn't miss. So I just started crying and yeah. So what I believe happened, and now this is speculation, but I'm quite certain this is what happened, is that Taylor and her team, they must have wanted to postpone or to cancel since Friday night when they saw the aftermath of the concert. But the company that was organizing it in Brazil, T4F, they must have pushed it so hard to the point where, and again, I am speculating, to the point where Taylor must have had a breakdown. Literally, she must have had like a panic attack in front of them, and they were forced to postpone because she was unfit to perform. I mean, come on, like, I doubt Taylor herself would be waking up on Saturday morning being like, oh yeah, I feel fine, no worries, let's just carry on as usual, pretend no one died and 1,000 people didn't pass out. Like, you know, we know that's not her. Like, of course we know that's not her. So at this point, with the postponement, I just expected the whole Rio leg of the tour to be cancelled, obviously both for safety reasons, but mostly because I could only assume Taylor is not fit to perform. But I was really surprised that it wasn't cancelled. So obviously the shows went ahead. I missed it. Unfortunately, I had to fly back to the UK. But this is a bit hard to say, but my friends told me that the show was a bit robotic, a bit like Taylor was really focused and really sticking to the script, having as little interaction with the public as possible. My friends still had an incredible time and they don't regret going at all, and it's still going to be a memory that they're going to cherish for the rest of their lives. But they told me that there was definitely an elephant in the room. I think for Taylor that going on, carrying on with the show on Sunday and Monday, for her probably felt like a responsibility to her fans, because if she cancelled, you know, so many people spent their life savings just to go there and travel from far. It's just too many people to disappoint, so it must be such a weight on Taylor. So imagine the emotional toll on Taylor to need to perform to Eras Tour standards, which is already like way beyond the standard of any type of concert, any type of performance, as we all know. So need to, you know, keep up with that standard with also that kind of emotional baggage. Like, no wonder she didn't put on like the most incredible show as she has, like, you know. Anyway, so another thing I really wanted to highlight is that Taylor said on her Insta post on Saturday that she would be unable to speak about Anna on stage. And I completely understand this, because I'm sure if she's like midway through performing loads of emotional songs and she takes the mic and starts earnestly talking, she would burst into tears. Obviously, imagine she starts talking about her fan that passed away. And of course that would affect her performance. So I understand that she made a conscious decision not to talk about this on stage. But at the same time, I felt like there should be something in honor of Anna explicitly. I know there was Bigger Than the Whole Sky, which is obviously a beautiful song, but I wish there was, for example, I don't know, a projection of Anna's photo to make it more explicitly about her, or something off stage, because if Taylor feels like she can't do something on stage, because of course it's really emotional, I felt like there should have been something like a grand gesture, like a big donation, I don't know, visiting Anna's family. I don't know, like, you know, she has such an amazing PR team with Tree and everything, you know. If Taylor herself obviously is really unwell and she can't handle, you know, doing like some big public gesture, you know, her team could absolutely move mountains, you know. So it really didn't sit right with me that lots of Brazilian Swifties did a massive fundraiser to organize bringing Anna's body back to her hometown because her family couldn't afford it. I mean, it's beautiful that we did it. I'm really proud. But it didn't sit right with me that Swifties had to raise money. And I feel like, imagine if Taylor had done that herself. I don't know. Obviously, it's not Taylor's job. It's not Taylor's responsibility. None of what happened is Taylor's fault. But I was kind of hoping Taylor would do something huge, either behind the scenes or publicly. So I'm kind of hoping that she has done something behind the scenes and we just don't know about it. Because I know she cares so deeply. She always has done. And we all know that she really loves us. And it's now 7 days after. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. And Taylor still really hasn't said anything. And that silence isn't really sitting right with me. But then again, I don't know what Taylor's situation is right now. Because to be quite honest, I'm very, very concerned about her mental health. And I really hope that she's getting all the help that she deserves. And at the same time, obviously, my heart absolutely goes out to the friends and family of the two fans who passed away, Ana and Gabriel. I can't begin to imagine the pain that they're going through, and it's a horrible tragedy for the Swiftie community and for their family, for Brazil, yeah, it's just awful. And there was just 2 more things I wanted to say at the end. So one thing is that obviously Taylor is getting a lot of hate unfairly, which obviously does not sit right with me. But Brazilian people, like Brazilian Swifties, are getting a lot of hate as well, and I absolutely hate that. And I see so many comments on posts about the Rio Eras Tour, saying that Rio shouldn't have hosted, that Rio wasn't ready to host. Obviously, it was a venue issue. It's not like the city of Rio. And saying that Brazilian Swifties don't deserve Taylor. And honestly, it's so unfair, and it breaks my heart, because I think people are saying that because of some people who have been criticizing Taylor, but those people are not the real fans. Like the people who have been saying that this is Taylor's fault, etc. Those aren't Taylor's fans. Those aren't Swifties. And I feel like Brazilian Swifties are getting so much hate, and I wanted to call that out. And the other thing, on a very, very personal note to me, is that I think that we have evidence that Taylor hates Rio. And it breaks my heart, because obviously I am from Rio, I love Rio, I think Rio has so much to offer, and it's such a beautiful, amazing place. Honestly, just go and Google images and see for yourself. I don't have to even convince you. It is the most beautiful place on earth. I just know that obviously she's now always going to associate Rio with really sad memories, and it breaks my heart. I just hate that. I hate that so much. But anyway, rant over. Sorry.
Alice, we are so sorry that you were not able to go to the show, and so sorry for everybody who had to go through that and experience that. Just awful for the family that went through it. Now, Alice did say Taylor hadn't done anything at that time, and she shared exactly when she was recording this message. Well, since then, Taylor did reach out to the family, and the whole family, Anna's family, did attend the final show on Sunday. I had also seen rumors that she gave her 22 hat to Anna's little sister, but I couldn't find confirmation on that. So I don't believe that's true, or at least it wasn't the grand gesture that we're used to during the passing of the 22 hat. But she did invite her family, and her whole family showed up wearing shirts. Also, she performed, we will go through the secret songs, but that Sunday, whenever she returned, she played Bigger Than the Whole Sky. And Taylor had said she's not going to be able to address it on stage.
That was her way.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
And you could see the tears in her eyes as she's singing that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a beautiful way
Absolutely
to go about it and to address it, because she's also devastated. And I know that it's different not knowing her and not being that end of the crowd. But I mean, Taylor was personally trying to do what she could do, down to throwing out water bottles to people.
And you could see when she came back, there were stacks of water everywhere for everyone.
They came back with water tanks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she laid down the demands out of her pocket to make this happen, and still had to put on a happy face and go perform, because that's what she wasn't going to miss out on more shows. There's already fans who were unable to attend that Monday show.
Right.
So regardless of how she's feeling, she still has the obligation for her fans to go out and put on that show anyway.
Yeah.
And it just, kudos for her. I mean, as Alice said, she thought that the rest of the tour was going to get canceled, that was going to be it. But Taylor feels the obligation and still goes out and puts on.
Yeah. She doesn't want to disappoint.
Mm-hmm. And put on a great show for everybody. But just what an awful thing. I do want to share, before we get into other specifics, some of what our Swiftie friends that were there said. Anna is unable to be with us today. Our Ana Castillejos is unable to be with us today.
Zabo.
She had other work obligations. But she said that tons of fans were reaching out saying they ran into so many other lobsters. And that was just
Yeah.
like another thing that they had in common. So that was nice to hear. Katha Brew said, I was there for the show that got postponed in Rio on Saturday. It was heartbreaking. My heart aches for the thousands of Swifties that could not reschedule their flights or accommodations and had to go back home without seeing Taylor. The situation was just not sustainable. The heat was unbelievably unbearable. There were people passing out by the minute.
Wow.
It has honestly been one of the most chaotic experiences of my life. I was blessed enough to be able to reschedule my flight and attend on Monday, but I was thinking about all those Swifties that were heartbroken at the last minute with the news. It was just all so surreal. Some of it feels like a blur. Maria Carolina messaged us and said, we love Taylor now and forever. I was there for the canceled show, sadly, on the 18th, and then on the 19th and rescheduled 20th in Rio. There were so much negative comments toward the Brazilian fans in the aftermath. I just want people to know that no one was more devastated than we were. All the sadness, anger, and grief that we felt was in no way directed towards Taylor. We were just really overwhelmed and frustrated. After the heat wave passed and the organizers of the show venue were forced to improve the conditions in the stadiums, the concert was incredible. We love Taylor now and forever. Beatrice Casilla said, I went to 3 shows here and it was amazing. The first one with my mom and sister, the next one with my husband, and the last one was a gift from a patient. I'm Taylor's age and I've been a Swiftie since I first heard the Fearless album. We've waited so long for her to be here and it was so worth it. Safe and Sound Live was magical.
Oh
so this
my
was the second
gosh.
weekend. And I loved Say Don't Go as well. Hope she comes back here eventually, even with everything that happened in Rio. Love your podcast. Julia Costa said, I went to night 3 in Rio, supposed to be night 2, but it was so rightly postponed, and it was the best night of my life. I thought it would be less exciting in the face of sadness of the events that happened and expected her to be with a different energy and less excited than usual. And I was making peace with that before the concert. But she went on stage and delivered us the same show she did the entire tour. The one that everyone was there expecting.
Yeah, she's professional.
Bruna Piera said, the heat was insane. I've never experienced something like that. And I'm from Rio, born and raised. The concert was amazing. I cried during the whole concert. I was inside the stadium when the second show was postponed. It was terrible. Everybody crying. But the cancellation was the only thing to do because people were already throwing up and fainting due to the heat.
Oh my gosh.
And when we got out of the venue, the police staff was not prepared for the 50,000 people to be in the streets at the same time. It was the worst day because we suffered mug attempts, the heat was unbelievable, and a storm came when we were outside of the stadium, and all of that for a show that never happened. Thank God I was there for the first night because I'd be wrecked if my first show was such a terrible experience. There was a lot of people from other states and countries that did not get to stay into the city until Monday and had to get reimbursed. It was so sad to see. So that was just some experience from people who was there, and just what a tragedy. How so very awful, and so sorry for everyone that had to go through that, everyone that was affected.
Right. And there was one other well, there are actually a couple more deaths in the Swiftyverse. Gabriel was traveling in Rio, and he was stabbed after a mugging after going to the concert to see Swift on early Monday morning at 3, police say. And then Allie Anderson, I saw her name a lot in the comments. She died on the 13th. She was gifted the 22 hat in Cincinnati on July 1st. She was 16 years old, and she was a cancer survivor, but it returned, and she did not make it. So she had also passed away this weekend. So lots of loss. Really terrible.
What a tragic and horrible thing to happen, and just so sorry. Just such a tragedy. Such a sad thing to happen for everybody. let's move on. Try to lighten up. Let's talk about the secret songs that she did perform during the acoustic set that first weekend. So, first night, November 17th, she played Stay Beautiful and Suburban Legends, which I did see some Swifties say that was a direct shout out to them in Brazil because there's a lot of suburban areas around there. And they think that Taylor found out and sang that just specifically for them.
That's nice.
When she returned on the 19th, that Sunday, she did Dancing with Our Hands Tied and Bigger Than the Whole Sky. And then on Monday, the rescheduled show, she did Me and So It Goes. And I saw a lot of people giving love for Me. Me hasn't always been very well received.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's changed, or I feel like I've seen a better response since she did perform it live, because we've never heard that song live outside of Lover Live from Paris.
Yeah.
And that was the first time. So that might be making a comeback on some people's list. Let's see if we can get it to Billboard Hot 100.
If anybody can do it.
So that was the end of the first weekend in Brazil. And we discussed this the previous week, but Taylor spent her Thanksgiving there. She stayed in Brazil for Thanksgiving and then came back for a second weekend. I do want to mention real quick, this episode is sponsored by our friends at BetterHelp. I know we've talked a lot about grief and tragedy in this episode, and it is natural to feel sadness and anxiety over things that you can't control, emergencies that happen in life and things that are unexplained. And we would like to encourage you, if you're feeling down in the dumps, if you're questioning things, or maybe you just need someone to talk to and you feel better sounding off to someone, you should try our friends at BetterHelp. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all the stress and change, and maybe talking to someone can give you something to look forward to, make you feel grounded, and give you the tools to manage everything that you have going on in your hectic life. I know that I benefited from therapy. I started therapy whenever I was going through my divorce, which was a dark period, and being able to talk to someone about what I was going through and find out that it's not just me. It's natural to feel this way, and it's okay to feel like you don't have control of everything sometimes. That's really the most of what I took away from my therapy, able to set up boundaries for myself, for others, so I'm not just busy people pleasing so I can protect myself. And those are things that I still use today and still talk to my therapist about whenever I meet with her. Therapy can be helpful. It can help with learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries. It can empower you to be the best version of yourself. And it's not just for those who have experienced major trauma. It can be good for the soul just to be able to talk to someone and share your experiences.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Taylor Swift fan today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Taylor Swift fan.
So we're entering in to the second weekend in Brazil. How do you say that?
Sao Paulo?
Sao Paulo.
I don't know if that's right.
I don't either. And Anna's not here, and she can say everything correctly. She can pronunciate everything. So I'm so very sorry that we're butchering this. But Taylor goes in for the final leg of the tour of this year. Now she's done. Now our weekends are empty until February when she returns. And there were a lot of expectations going into this weekend. What was going to happen? A lot of clownery
Yes.
going on. Lots and lots of speculation. Now, Amy, what were your thoughts heading into this weekend? Do you keep up with the hype? Are you?
I usually don't, but I was getting I was getting a feeling that it would be a great time to make an announcement for Reputation. And then leading up to it, I mean, this isn't until I guess night 2 or night 3. Her backup dancers were all teasing black hearts in their stories. Tree showed up and she was wearing all black and she had done blue previously for 1989 announcement. So I was just thinking it really was going to happen.
So the Empire State Building, Auntie Anne's, her backup dancers, all posting black hearts, hints to Reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I did see Nikki King say that they're just fans like the rest of us.
But
That-
they got to know, right? They have to know.
Well, I think she was specifically talking about like Empire State Building. I don't know about the
Oh,
backup
okay.
dancers, whether or not they're in the know.
That's what I meant.
How secretive is Taylor Swift? Because, I mean, she has had people in music videos with her not listening to the music.
True.
So does she share everything with the backup dancers? I don't know. Or is it a surprise to them? I mean, we saw even the simple lyric change, the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me.
Right, they didn't know that.
And their faces. So, I mean, I don't know. Also, I've watched live streams of when we thought 1989 was getting announced, that LA weekend. We thought every single night it was going to get announced. And the Haim sisters were making 1989 references. So are people just playing it up because of the hype, because they think what's going to happen, or are they trolling us? Who knows? One thing that stood out, and I was like, it is happening. It's happening. Rumblings of rep dropping. We'll see if that happens. There was even her secret song set. She was seemingly doing a backwards countdown.
Right. I
She
saw
kicked
that.
it off with 1989, then Speak Now, then Alyssa on TikTok was saying if she does Red and then Fearless next, we know that it's going to be Rep and Debut after that. Well, she did Red. She did a Fearless song. That's whenever she performed Amy's Safe and Sound.
Yes, for me and me only.
Yes.
No, I heard the crowd, the fans were singing it back to her, and it just was so magical. I was so happy to hear that.
Taylor Swift's website had a countdown that was lining up. Now, this was for merch. This was for Black Friday deals. But still, there were all these counting downs that were going on. What sold me, Amy, was Taylor Swift's wink as she's walking off stage.
She winks all the time.
After Speak Now. As she's walking off stage, she always turned around and looked back. But she does that wink. We've seen that wink. That wink is the glitch. That wink is what she kicked off whenever she did Wildest Dreams back in the Red era. Whenever her and Jack Antonoff are talking over each other and causing all this chaos, and she ends on a wink. That wink means something. Now, let's talk about what did happen first off. So, night 1, she's saying, now that we don't talk, and innocent, which was beautiful. That was 1989 vault into Speak Now. Well, then night 2, she performed Safe and Sound and Untouchable. Safe and Sound was included on the Red version,
Right.
Red Taylor's version, and Untouchable is from Fearless. So that seemed to line up with Alyssa's backward countdown. So then Sunday, everybody is waiting. Is this announcement going to happen?
I was waiting for black dresses everywhere for every era. Nope.
Ana, our Anna knew that it was going to happen. Anna was tuned in. She was ready. She knew everything. This moment is going to happen. We were all watching separately, but together. We were on our group chats saying, hey, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? The night before, I had been working and was out having dinner and spaced about what time it was. I wasn't tuned in until I got a text on our group chat from Anna saying, oh my God, Amy. And I said, oh, Taylor Swift stuff's happening. I gotta, immediately tuned out of my dinner, AirPods in. That's whenever I call it safe and sound live. So Sunday I was hanging out with friends and I said, I've got to step away. They were watching football, so nobody really cared what I was doing anyway. But stepped away, put my earbuds in. And this was the moment, I think, as a Swiftie, we all collectively, if I can say this, shit our pants.
The acoustic set during the era, I have established.
She said, like you just said, during the Rep Eras tour.
Yeah.
She said that. And I'm like, oh, it's going to happen. It's happening. She just said Rep during that moment. But then she continued, moved right past that. And I want to say that what she says next is proof that she knows about our game and wants to make it harder on us next year whenever she returns to the stage. Because this is what Taylor Swift had to say next.
In 2024, when we go back out on tour, I'm just gonna open back up all the songs for surprise songs, because I feel like for 1 year we've really gotten through a lot of songs, so I'm just gonna make all the songs fair game when we go back on tour for 2024.
Yeah, resetting
the clock, if you will. Spent a whole year surprising us, changing up the songs, doing everything. And I saw we had our own personal bet here on our podcast to see who can correctly guess what Taylor is going to perform that weekend. And there towards the end, everybody was like, oh, there's a lot of overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have that many options left. So it made the game a little bit easier because
Right.
you only have so much to pull from.
The game was a lot closer this time than it was the last leg.
So no more. Now I think she just showed favoritism to Amy because Amy's the one who's proven, and Anna has proven that they can think like Taylor Swift. So whenever she does return in February, she's going to be in Tokyo, beginning of February, and everything's going to be back on the table. So we're going to have to guess from any of them. Is she still going to play songs she hasn't played yet? Is she going to go back to fan favorites? We don't know. But she said that and then played Say Don't Go, which was beautiful. And this whole combo was genius. It was. I had chosen Dear Reader and It's Time to Go. But she did Say Don't Go. And it was beautiful. She did a really good job. Then she goes over to the piano and plays It's Time to Go.
No rep. So Anna had said, what if she announces Reputation, Taylor's version, in a different way? Because both Speak Now and 1989 were announced, hey, look at the screen behind me, and, during the surprise song. So she was thinking, what if, because it's Reputation, there's no explanation, it's the end after she sings Karma, it's the screen of Reputation, Taylor's version, or some other way she announces it during the tour, but it didn't happen.
Even I thought, waking up Monday morning, I wake up after a lot of y'all. y'all wake up really early. I wake up regular people time. I woke up and I was thinking, okay, there is no explanation. She's just going to drop it at midnight. Going to wake up, knows everybody was in for this rep, seeing all the people afterwards in their clown makeup, doing live TikToks. It's just going to happen. It didn't. Well, what happened? What happened? Because Taylor Nation took down rep stories from their Instagram page. People noticed this shortly before the final concert that night. She has all of her others up there. I don't know if she has debut, actually. I'd have to double check. But she had rep, and now it's gone. Is it because she's going to start adding more stuff and have new memories to share? Well, Miss Murray in middle school on TikTok has this theory, and it's basically, look what you made her do. And this is a good theory, I think.
She took it away. I think all of this points to the fact that rep was definitely supposed to be announced tonight, just based on all of the Easter eggs and all the math and like the 120-day theory or whatever. It probably was supposed to be announced tonight, and for whatever reason, she took it away. And I think it's because we were demanding it. This is the last night of the Eras Tour for 2023, and her fans are not celebrating with her. They're all complaining about why she didn't make this announcement. I'm just putting myself in her shoes, and even though I don't know her, and maybe she doesn't care, maybe she thinks it's funny, or maybe she's glad everyone's excited, she could also be like, why is no one celebrating the 2023 Eras Tour? We made her do it. She took it away.
Which, not wrong. Not wrong. What are you seeing on social media now? Complaints. Not a celebration of what all we've been given this year. I don't know that Taylor's vindictive like that with her fans, but it does make sense, and it is a little insulting once you put it that way, that you're talking about the one thing I didn't do and not everything that I did.
I don't think she was vindictive, because even, was it today? Was it this morning? She made the announcement. Hi, well, so basically I have a birthday coming up, and I was thinking of a fun way to celebrate. And she tells us that she's giving us the streaming Eras Tour concert film. So I don't think she's being vindictive.
I don't think so, but that I could see it from Taylor's perspective that could hurt her. That would hurt her feelings.
Sure.
That all that you're doing is complaining.
Yeah.
I don't believe she's vindictive, not against her fans, not like that. I don't think we're being punished, and that's why she took it away. Also, we have to remember that this is just a theory.
Right.
This is only a theory that fans came up with. Now, everything can seem credible. The wink, the backwards countdown, everything could add up. That doesn't mean it's going to. Taylor works years in advance. We could be right 3 years from now, and it finally happens.
Right.
We're just going to have to see. I also saw some people wondered, Anna's family was there. That was the night that Anna's family was invited to the show, and Taylor Swift was backstage with Anna, who passed away night one in Brazil. Her whole family was there wearing shirts with her face on it. What if she had planned rep and decided that was rude? Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to do that in front of her family.
Plans changed for the pandemic. Plans, I think, changed whenever she went on Stephen Colbert and started talking about pizza. Like we were about to get 1989 Taylor's version, and then we did not. I think plans, she's more fluid. Mm-hmm. You know, she may have things planned out for 3 years in advance, but she's more fluid, and I think it's okay. I think my next theory is that she might announce it for New Year's. Maybe she'll say it then. Who knows?
Oh, I forgot to mention this too. There were so many theories leading into this final weekend anyway. I saw Nikki King on TikTok. This did not necessarily flow with her 112-day theory, but like Nikki King says, that's only a theory, and announcements never played into that. She can announce something at any time. it was more of the release schedule that she was looking at for the 112-day cycle. Nikki King thought, Rep's coming. It's coming tonight. Even though that doesn't line up with things that I've said before, I think she's going to announce it tonight. Ty Wilson 13 on TikTok said no, she's not going to announce it. She's going to announce Holiday House, a Christmas special.
Oh my gosh, I would have loved that.
Because on her website, the snow globe is now called Holiday House on her website instead of Lover House or something. I could be wrong, but anyway, they changed the name of it to Holiday House. There's been speculation of her doing collabs with friends. There were rumors of either friends going to Holiday House or maybe just speculation that her friends came to Holiday House, Rebecca Harkness's Holiday House in Rhode Island, and they recorded Christmas songs together and released those. There were so many rumors going on. So Ty wasn't buying the reputation. That's not going to happen. But all these are just theories, and just so happened, all of these theories were wrong. But I was waiting. In our group text that Sunday before she ever went on stage, I was saying, Anna said, do you think Rep's coming? I said, I think it's going to be Karma. I do. I think she was going to pull a bait and switch. I was going to mention Holiday House, but I was like, I don't want to be that crazy fan in the group text. And then Anna mentioned it, and I was like, well, I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, that's also a strong possibility for tonight. We'll see. All of them wrong. Absolutely all of them wrong.
But what a wonderful way to end the Eras Tour for 2023. I mean, it was a beautiful year for her.
Oh, perfect.
And I don't think she's done.
I don't know. I don't know if she's done or not.
I don't either.
But Brie May on TikTok did share this theory, which is a Taylor Swift thing to do. So let's see if you agree with this.
Taylor didn't announce Reputation, Taylor's version, last night like we all thought she would, and I think that she is turning the tables. I think that she's trying to walk us through and kind of create the build-up that she experienced when Reputation was being released. She, her name was kind of dragged through the mud, and there was a bunch of snakes in her life, and people that she thought she could trust, she couldn't. And I think that in her kind of tricking us into thinking it would come out, I think she's kind of trying to basically recreate the chaos that she felt when she had to release Reputation, or not had to release it, but she was releasing it, and everyone in her life was kind of betraying her, and her reputation was tarnished, and nothing was right, everything was off. And that's exactly what we're feeling right now. We honestly, everyone's kind of saying I took a walk down Clownelia Street, Cornelia Street, in her music, but clown, Clownelia, get it? We all look like fools. And that's how she looked during Reputation, and she's reversing the narrative.
Which is a Taylor Swift thing to do. I mean, 1989 has been my favorite re-recording era yet because it is so reminiscent of her 1989 era, of her happy, out and about, in public, with her bitch pack friends. And I say that lovingly, stealing that from her song, Last Great American Dynasty. But she's so public and so out and about. So what if she is? What if she is building up the hype just to let you down, kind of? I'm saying that wrong. I think I'm saying that wrong. But I mean, this could be, if she's doing this for the chaos because that's what she felt before Reputation, that's very spot on.
Interesting theory.
So, funny tweets that I noticed from that night. We've all said there will be no explanation. I saw a tweet that said, apparently there will be no explanation and no reputation either. And other people were just taking her words from Say Don't Go, repeating it. Why'd you have to lead me on? Why'd you have to twist the knife? Walk away and leave me bleeding. So what a fun year for the most part, clouded in tragedy that also just happened. But aside from that, an exciting year on the Eras tour, how much she has fed us, how much she's given us. We got Speak Now, 1989. We got all these new Vault songs. We got the Karma music video. We got, what's the other music video? I Can See You. We've gotten a lot from Taylor Swift this year. The Eras Tour movie. Now she's re-releasing that on her birthday in its entirety. It's going to have all the songs that were taken out for the original movie. Those are going to be available. And
not all of them. I think Cardigan and the one she did with the Haim sisters aren't going to be a part of it.
Okay. Nobody, No Crime.
Yeah.
So she is still giving us goodies. And I saw some people say, was she doing that because people were upset about Reputation? She wanted to give them something. Or people were upset because the Reputation tour is getting ready to leave Netflix. And she wanted to let people know, hey, this is leaving Netflix, but I've got something else coming up. And also, I think she's severing her ties with Netflix. Have you heard about all that?
No, but I know that the Eras Tour concert film is going to be on Apple TV, Vudu, Amazon Prime, Infinity, Google Play, and YouTube. Netflix was not mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Because she was upset whenever Netflix made a joke about her in the Ginny and Georgia a couple years ago.
I forgot about that.
Yes. And she thought, it was a cheap joke, first off, because they said something about, as many boyfriends as Taylor Swift or something like that. Well, she had been in a relationship with a guy for years at that point. That's a very cheap shot, stupid joke. And you allowed that on a network that I exclusively gave Miss Americana and Reputation to. So it's speculated, only speculation, but she's still mad about that and was just waiting for her contract to expire and was going to take it off those streaming services or that streaming service as soon as possible. But she didn't want the fans to be upset that Reputation's leaving. So that's why she was saying, hey, but I'm doing this. And she's still giving us a present for her birthday.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what else she has in store, if anything else, or if she's going to take a much needed break after this. I know one of us will not be taking a break, though. We're still going to be here. Don't worry. The 13 podcast will still be together. Should be all of us. We're getting together later this week. Should be all of us. We do still have to discuss the points, the secret song, and the punishment, because one person has to record a solo 13-minute episode. And if they weren't intimidated before, I bet you they're most definitely intimidated now after hearing Alice Lessa speak eloquently and share her thoughts for 14 minutes. Just thank you, Alice, for that. You did such a wonderful job. And that's very hard to follow up after that. You thought 13 minutes was hard? She made it look easy. And now someone is going to have to go on and do their own solo episode before the end of the year as punishment because they don't think like Taylor Swift.
Mm-mm.
But who does at this point? Because a lot of us were fooled, I feel like.
Not even Taylor Nation can think like Taylor Swift, because whenever they made the announcement of concert film being on the streaming service, did you see that they misspelled folklore?
Yes.
Oh my God. It's so funny.
That is so bad.
It's pretty bad. Oh, but still really funny.
And Taylor's such a perfectionist. I mean, ooh. And misspelling irritates me anyway. I could imagine with Taylor. And Adam, I'm not even grammatically correct all the time. But if it's a noticeable misspelling, that gets on my nerves. I have to get onto the place I bartend all the time because they'll put out stuff with misspellings. And I'm like, do you realize how bad that makes you look if you're just lazy?
It's better to have a second pair of eyes because maybe you just don't notice it, have someone else look at it.
Yeah. But it has been a wonderful, exciting year as Swifties. Mother has fed us so much. And just remember that these are all theories. And if it gets to be too much, Nikki King was saying this on her TikTok earlier, if it gets to be too much, step away. Other people are having fun, even whenever they're wrong, even whenever they are very, very, very wrong. But we still have to be grateful for everything that we've been given this year. And she's, not even halfway through with her tour because she continues to add dates. So she's got more and more coming. Now, we had wondered if she was going to return to this final leg of the tour after having a break, if she was going to return and do something different. And we had asked our international Swifties, how would you feel? A lot of people said they still wanted the same show.
Right.
Now she has a bigger break. She does have more stuff that she has released. Is she going to announce anything during this break? Last time she was on a break, she had no chill. She was at Travis Kelce's game. She was out and about. She was recording.
She's releasing
at
the
studios, releasing the film, doing, just staying busy, busy, busy. So is she going to chill? Are we going to get more from her? We'll have to see. We still have a little bit left in the year. We've got her birthday coming up. And then the Eras Tour will be on a break until February. February 7th is whenever she's going to return.
Can't wait, Taylor.
Yeah, can't wait. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Thank you for tolerating me and Amy on our own solo. I hope that we did okay, feeling a little barren without our other partners, but we're all going to reconvene on Friday and do some talking and some catching up and maybe some taunting, maybe some finger pointing at those who had lost and have to go and do their own solo show now. But thank you for listening. Please leave us a rating and review. All the ways to contact us are in the description of this podcast. I'm Lacey G.
As a Christmas gift to you, I'm feeling the holiday season. I'm Amy.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.
Warmer, sunnier days are calling, and you can fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So if you only have a few minutes between meetings during the day, or you get home and you're just so hungry but you have no time to cook, Factor is where you should go. They have 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, and you'll always have new flavors to explore. You can crush your wellness goals this May with dietitian approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. And these are delicious. From breakfast to dessert, you can stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. And you can keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes, so no shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Head to factormeals.com/TaylorSwiftFan50 and use code TaylorSwiftFan50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code TaylorSwiftFan50 at factormeals.com/TaylorSwiftFan50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.